Hi everyone, it's Katie, and today I have a bit of a deck review for you. This is the pretty new Wisdom of the Oracle Divination cards by Colette Baron-Reid. I picked them up a few days ago and I'm just in love with them. I haven't had an Oracle deck that has made me this smitten in quite a while. It's published by Hay House and comes in, the lovely standard Hay House box, which will keep your cards nice and safe. The book is really chunky. It's a good 200 pages nearly. At the beginning there's a bit of an introduction about the deck and what Colette Baron-Reid's kind of idea or vision for the deck was, as well as how to do a reading, 1 card, 2 card and 3 card spreads, and kind of gives you an idea of what sort of questions to ask, rather than the yes-no questions. It gives you an idea of what sort of questions are best suited to the deck. And then it also gives you a few sample readings for 2 characters or 2 people. We get their question and then a few cards pulled for them, and so we can kind of see the deck in action before we've even opened it up. And then, she also does discuss the role of reversals in the deck. She does encourage you to use reversals, and in the meanings of each card there is an essential meaning, which is kind of like a series of keywords, the oracle's message, which is kind of like a generalized message from the card, and then depending on your reading you can either use the relationship message or the prosperity message. And then if you are using reversals and you pull a reverse card, there is a protection message, which is kind of the shadow aspect or reversal meaning for each card. So this guidebook is really quite comprehensive. There's a lot in here, but I found the messages to be really concise and to the point. So it's a really well put together and well done book, and I think it really adds quite a lot to the experience of using the deck. There are 52 cards in this deck, and the sides are beautiful and gold gilded. The backings are reversible, obviously, as she does utilize reversals in this deck. And I hope you can see there's actually a face in those spirals, and this face is the face of the oracle, and she does talk about it briefly in the guidebook, that she kind of sees this female face as the oracle itself. Kind of the messages are coming through her, and her face is in every single card, although there is one card that I haven't been able to find it in yet, so I'll have to point that out when we get there. It's all very pastel-y and gentle colours, quite a lot of blues and pinks and purples and greens. It's beautiful, and the artwork is really well done. It's like this photo manipulation sort of style going on, and it's just really interesting. And I would say the same for the titles of the cards. The titles and the images themselves, I've never seen any other oracle deck with this sort of imagery and these sort of titles. I think when you start collecting a few oracle decks, a lot of them have at least a few of the same cards or the same sort of cards and the same kind of way of depicting those cards. This deck is just completely different. There's none of those cards that I've seen before in this deck, and they're all kind of got these like little sayings almost. Like, it kind of feels like it comes out of a nursery rhyme. It just feels like no other oracle deck that I own. It feels really fresh and new and exciting and fun to use. And for that reason I haven't been able to put it down, whether I'm just looking at it because it's so pretty, or whether I'm using it and its messages are really hitting home and they're so accurate and detailed and on point. But yeah, this deck is just really kind of rocking my world at the moment, and I think it's beautiful. And as you can see, this is the same image that's on the backing. This oracle face shows up in every card, as I said. So it's really, she's kind of imposed on the image. She's very subtle, in some images much more than others. She's in the sky in several of them. In others, she's kind of imposed upon the image itself. But like in here, that's her face in this one. So it's really interesting. It's kind of like a game of hide and seek almost when you first start trying to work out where she is. But I think it's really beautiful. I kind of view it as a reminder that the messages of these cards are coming to me directly from Spirit. You know, they are the voice of Spirit manifest. So that's kind of how I see it. And I think it's a really powerful reminder in each card. I think it's beautiful. And the colours are just, although they are soft, they're still brilliant. I really love this one. It actually reminds me of like a video game, just the way the colours are done. Time for a nap. These cards are just beautiful. They remind me of a nursery rhyme or something. I have honestly just been sitting down and flicking through this deck because it's just so pretty to look at, and it just makes me feel plugged in. It makes me feel connected. It makes me feel like I've just had a meditation. It just makes me feel elevated and calm and centered. I just think it's a really powerful, beautifully done deck. And she also talks about in the guidebook how her aim in large part was to represent a lot of the other and older styles of divination and oracle throughout this deck in a more modern way that is accessible to everybody. So she talks about briefly how they're, you know, she's used symbols from the tarot and I Ching and all forms of different kinds of divination to kind of try and make this deck as robust and informative and powerful as possible. And I think she has certainly succeeded in that. And the artist, her name is Jena something, I can't remember. I'll put it in the info bar below. This is the artist who has worked with Colette Baron-Reid on, I'm not sure if all of her other decks, but at least some of her other decks. And Jena has just done an absolutely incredible job, I think, of bringing to life this deck in just such a beautiful and enthralling way. It's so captivating. It's so beautiful. Look at that. And as you can see, this is the face here on her shoulder. So some of the, as I said, some of the representations of the oracle are really quite subtle. And then we have these really fantastical sort of depictions of animals. Quite a few fairy characters as well throughout the deck. Look at that sea turtle. Beautiful. A lot of animal imagery. I found this deck to be, I really just enjoy pulling one card because I think that it is so detailed and beautifully done that I get so much from just one card. and I do like to sit with it, but at the moment I am really enjoying the messages that Colette Baron-Reid has produced in the guidebook. So I am using the guidebook at the moment, and I'm really enjoying that process. And I'm finding it to be really accurate and really specific. So for that reason, one card for me is perfect, but also I don't really find it that useful. I mean, it is, but I don't find it, I wouldn't say it is my go-to deck for what is my day going to bring, or what messages are there for me. It doesn't feel like an affirmation-y daily draw sort of deck. It certainly feels like I have an issue and I need some guidance around that issue. That's what it feels like. It feels like the Oracle is very much answering your questions in a very direct but also heartfelt way. And it's been really powerful for that. It's given me very clear answers. One example would be, I asked about a course that is coming to Melbourne that I wasn't so sure about. I wasn't sure if I wanted to invest my money. I wasn't sure if it was the right thing for me. So I asked about it, and I got all that glitters. And in the book it basically says, no, avoid that. It's not what it looks like. It's not what is right for you right now. No. It was very, very clear. And I really wasn't expecting it to be that clear, but it was. And I'm just really enjoying using this deck, and I highly recommend it. I think because the guidebook is broken down into, you know, the general meaning, relationship meaning, prosperity, and protection meanings, I think this is a wonderful book for, or deck for beginners, because it really starts to allow you to really see in action how different cards can mean or give different messages to different answers. Sometimes when we see keywords on a deck, you know, we can be like, oh, that doesn't apply to my question. Whereas, you know, you can really see it in action how those meanings do apply to so many different aspects of life. So I think that's a really wonderful thing for beginners. And it's just so beautiful, and there's so much depth in these cards that I think anyone would just enjoy having them. If the artwork appeals to you, I think it's certainly a deck to purchase, invest in, and to enjoy. So that's my little review. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions at all, please leave them below and I will get back to you. Much love, guys. Bye.